Hey guys, so this is going to be a really difficult subject to broach, and I know I'm going to have my fair share of haters in the comments, but I really believe it needs to be addressed, thought over, discussed. Um, and before I start, I want to say that death is always going to be heartbreaking. It will never be easy, but it is the inevitable end to every story. I don't care whether you're plant, mineral, or animal, but that doesn't mean that death is bad. So I was in a live where a pro-choicer was inviting the opposition to come into the live and debate with him. The sad part is that the pro-choicer had more compelling arguments than the pro-lifers. The pro-lifers were giving, reasons like it's against my religion or because I value all life. You guys, I can't be the only one who knows that those aren't the only two options. I consider myself a pro-balancer. What that means is I believe that the human race is severely overpopulated. And when there's an overpopulation of one species, nature will inevitably introduce a variable to thin that population out. She does this to ensure the balance and survival of every other species on the planet. Now, knowing what we have to look forward to, we really have no one to blame for our current state of distress than ourselves. When a species becomes overpopulated, they become weaker due to lack of resources such as food, water, shelter, which means there's only going to be exposure and starvation. And then additionally, you have natural selection. So with our own species, we will have those that'll develop mental disorders, birth defects, things like that. Much like a mama rabbit will eat a sickly baby or a mother pig won't feed the runt. It's because she knows she doesn't have the resources to look after it and she doesn't want it to suffer. So we'll begin weeding out our own. And this is when you get those that'll kill, not only other humans, but other living species without remorse. This is also where you get the people that create synthetic viruses and things of that nature. It's kind of like a survival instinct, eradicating a few for the betterment of the whole. And then once we're done with ourselves, our own species, other species will begin to step out and thin the herd. This is when you get animal attacks on people because humans have become so overpopulated that we start encroaching upon the environments of other living beings. And then finally, we'll have nature herself. She'll introduce biological warfare and natural disaster. So we'll get profoundly venomous bees, wasps, spiders, snakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, fires, pestilence, all that good stuff. So let me be clear. I am by no means condoning the taking of life unless it is for self-preservation or to protect a loved one. But we really need to look at our environments. Take a larger city, for example. The more dense the people, the population, the more death there is per capita. And then you look at a smaller town, you have much fewer deaths. It's because you're not right on top of one another. And that area has enough resources to sustain the population that is in it. And then, we have other things. So look at what we do to other living beings in order to prolong and sustain our own existence. If the roles were reversed and a bear was raising and caging people purely for food, would we find that okay? Take the amount of foliage that's destroyed every year. Do you believe that each plant was replaced to balance the ecosystem? It was really different back in our great ancestors' days. They had kids hand over fist because most of them were poor farmers and ranchers and couldn't afford help. So their children were like their work crew. They didn't realize what they were setting into motion. And back then, it was against the law to abort children. And the government is stepping in again, trying to, illegalize abortion. But they're also doing things such as, vaccines and, they're synthetically growing babies in incubators and cloning and, just all this stuff that really has no, it can't be good. It can't be good for us, the environment, anybody. So, we really have to smarten up. Anyone who has children knows that, one child is a challenge, two is difficult, three or more just seems impossible. I mean, I've only had one, and she took every bit of my time because I wanted her to be well rounded, thoughtful, intelligent, and I wanted to instill the morals and values into her that I believed would make her the best person that she could possibly be. But then you have others from different environments who, think it's okay to just go out and party, pick up a stranger, sleep with them, and then, discard the consequences from that union. Um, so it's a matter of the environment. And I'm not saying that there's no good people in densely populated areas, but you have an instinct in an overpopulation of a species that kicks in to where the self-preservation takes precedence over right and wrong. There is no care for the balance. Everybody, wants to save their loved ones, whether it's a pet, whether it's grandma, whether it's their child, and it hurts profoundly to lose someone like that. But guys, it has to happen. This is how we grow. This is how we become better people. This is how we stop being narcissists. And this is how we start caring about what we do have around us. I don't know. Tell me what you think.